Alright, greetings all, Rowan here. In this video, I'm going to look at the 10 best reggae amps. Well, in my opinion anyway. I'm going to do the video in two parts. So this is the part one, and I'm going to do a second part and upload it at a later date. And the reason for that is the last time I tried to upload a video to YouTube, it took ages. So that's the reason why I'm doing it in two parts, to make it easier for me. All right, so the first reggae amp is the Roland JC 120. And I think, and people may disagree, but I think it's the best reggae amp out there. And why do I think that? It's loud as hell. You don't even need a mic. Even the people in the cheap seats, as they say, will be able to hear you. It is solid state, so it won't break on you. You can take a real beating and you can pick it up, plug your guitar in, and it will work. It's a very flexible amp. You can plug a guitar into it, a bass guitar into it, a keyboard into it, a mic into it, and it will still work. You see, so it's a very flexible amp. The only problem is, though, it's expensive, and that's what's one of the problems with it. I don't know why, because it's a solid state amp, but I suspect it's because it's reliable. Again, the cleans on this amp is to die for. It's one of the best clean tones you can actually get. And this amp, if you use it, it will not hide your mistakes. So if your playing is bad, it's gonna sound bad. You're not gonna get no beautiful harmonics or overtone. It doesn't do that. It just gives you whatever you put in there. It's a very flat, clean amp. It takes pedals really well. So if you got multi-effects or stump boxes, they will work really, really well in this amp. Okay, like I said before, it can take a beating, it can take a battering, and it will still play, it will still work, and it's low maintenance. And this is probably the reason why the Jamaicans love it so much, because they can get a clean tone out of it, and it doesn't take a lot to maintain it. So when you have it on the road, you know, it just lasts as long as you want it to. It goes on and on and on and on, like the Energizer Bunny. All right, so check it out. It's quite heavy. Roland used to make the JC 90. I think they made the 70, 60, and 50 as well. They don't anymore. If they did, I would probably get, you know, sort of like an 80 watt or 90 watt version and just call it a day, but they don't. They do make the 40 watt version, but that's not loud enough for me. And they've made they make also the 22 watt version, and again, that's still not too loud for me to gig with. So check it out, the Roland JC 120, the best amp for reggae. All right. So this is the Fender Twin Reverb. So this is the other amp. Along with the Roland JC 120, you'll see the Fender Twin Reverb as well on stages around the world, wherever there's a reggae gig or a reggae concert or a reggae festival. These are the two amps that you will mainly see on stage, okay? If you don't believe me, just go on YouTube and have a look. Yeah, it is loud. The clean tone, the valve tone is to die for, and to me, this amp has the best clean tone in the entire world. It is better than the Roland JC 120 in my opinion, because I love valve amps. You know what I mean? It's very heavy though, and it's quite costly as well, because Fender, I don't know why, these days when you try to get valve amp, it never used to be back in the day, but these days, currently, valve amps they're very expensive, and they're high maintenance, and you have to change the tubes regularly, otherwise it can go microphonic. So it's something to think about if you're in the market for something like this. But again, the tone is to die for. It's very gorgeous and very lovely. It's a brute, it's heavy, very heavy to carry around. So if you're in the market for a valve amp, check this one out. This is the THEVOX AC30. A lot of reggae guys back in the day used to play this. They don't so much anymore. But it has very, very clean, nice tone. A very shimmery, lush, smooth kind of clean tone. That's voiced different from the Fender amps. It's very heavy as well. In the past, they weren't known to be reliable. In fact, one of my friends who used to work for Vox at the time used to refurbish these, and they always break down. But I think the newer versions are better. They're more reliable now. They're high maintenance again because of the valves. but you can have them for a reasonable price if you look around. So it's not as expensive as the other ones. Okay, so check that out. The Peavey Classic 30 is also another very good amp. It's quite heavy, so if it's too heavy for you, you could actually look into the Classic 30 because they are similar amps. You know, they're just different wattage. It has a nice clean tone, and I've played one before, and it sounds very Fenderish. Really, really nice, gorgeous tone. It's reasonably priced. Sorry, it's not as expensive as the Fender or even the Roland JC 120 or the THEVOX. It's less expensive, so it's worth looking into. It's still high maintenance because obviously it has valves in it or tubes. It's quite heavy as well. So again, look at the Classic 30 if you can't manage the weight of this one. Okay, check it out. Nice clean tone. The Peavey Classic Chorus. Now, this amp is actually quite interesting. The one on the left, apparently this was made to compete with the Roland JC 120. It has a similar voicing and a similar sound to the Roland JC 120. But I'm not entirely sure it's as good as the Roland JC 120. Some people swear to God it is. And I've gone on a few forums on the internet and people kept arguing about it. And they claim that you can hear it from miles and miles down the road. You know, I've never tried it, but that's what they say. It's low maintenance and it's cheap. You can have them on eBay for cheap. I do know, however, that a lot of reggae guys back in the day, and even today, still play them. I know Ernest Wrangling plays one, and he's a top flight reggae guitarist. You know, and many others out there, you know, still use the amp. And you can find it in rehearsal space. People still have them at their homes. You know, so it's worth checking it out. If you can carry it around, because it's quite heavy, it's worth the investment. They are very, very good amps, these old Peavey amps. The one on the right is the newer version. I'm not sure if it's just as good as the old one or if it's better, but I know it has a very good tone in it. You got the chorus and your reverb as well. So it's a decent amp. It's a decent mid-range amp that can be used for the intermediate player, the beginner as well, and the advanced player. So and it's clean. You can get a nice clean tone out of it. You can't go wrong with it. And it probably won't break down on you because it's not valve. It has what they call the trans-tube technology. So it's worth looking into as well. All right. And so that's it. So what did we look at? We look at the JC 120, which I think is the best reggae amp. Then the Fender Twin Reverb, which I think has the best tone of all the amp. Very heavy though. The Vox AC30, which has a very good clean tone as well, but they said it wasn't reliable in the past, but it's probably reliable now. Then we got the Peavey Classic 50, which is a fantastic amp. It gives you a Fenderish kind of tone, which is really, really good. And then we have the Peavey Classic Chorus, which also gives you a very nice tone. So you can look at either of those because they work. Do let me know which amp you think is the best or which amp you use. Do remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and also press the bell for notifications. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll upload the next one in the coming week, and you can have a look at that as well. Take care. Bye.